Hello, Talk TKD episode 12. It's been a few weeks since we've done the last one. My sincere apologies. I know we haven't been too consistent, but we will get back to normality. I can't remember if I explained in the last one. My brother and co-host, Mr. Michael Whitlock, is now taking a year out of Taekwondo sort of training and competing to concentrate on his PGC for him to become a primary school teacher, specialising in PE. Hopefully, he'll use that as a platform to, transform some children's lives and inspire them and get them involved in sport and do good things that I'm sure General Troy would approve of. So, from me, good luck to him. I have been preparing and competing at the European Championships in Scotland. Um, Socially, it was a fantastic trip. Obviously, I always enjoy seeing my fellow Taekwondo brethren and sisterin, um, and sharing experiences and obviously part of the ITF England national team, of which over the last couple of years felt a strong bond too, and we've got a good rising team that I was very proud to be a part of. Overall, the competition was a great success. It was well run. The timings were grand, as I've come to expect from this ITF. Everything's run well. It's very professional, and it's a pleasure to be a part of. And represent myself, my association, and country in such an environment. Overall, the England team did well. I believe we came eighth out of, I can't remember how many countries, but quite a few. Most importantly, we came back with more medals than we did at last year's Euros, which is fantastic. Not just for the competitors, but for the coaches as well. They're personally, for me, I think they're very much doing the correct thing, and the team is getting stronger and stronger. And it clearly filters from the top down. I feel myself very lucky to be a part of that setup. Personally, it dawned on me a few days ago that it was my worst international performance or slash results for 12 years, um, which I was a little bit bummed out about. But I'll get onto that a little bit later. Had a few issues leading up to it, injury, sort of problems with my back. I flew for like a week and a half or something stupid like that, that kept me out of training. Always had a couple of sort of family, personal things go on. Basically illness in my family. My beloved grandmother is terminally ill, so I was quite distracted leading up to it, and it wasn't. It was probably my worst training camp for 12 years, and hence my worst results for 12 years. So I'm trying to keep perspective, and this is the highest level of competition. Sort of the Premier League of ITF Taekwondo, and it's just impossible to go in without a full training camp and expect to do well. These guys are the best of the best. They're elite, and all things in perspective, I can't be too depressed about my my performances. Uh, it sounds like I'm making excuses, but it's not an excuse. I am upset that I didn't perform well for myself and for my teammates. It's just being realistic, and that I wasn't at my full fitness, and uh, Ludwig from Norway, who I had in the first round, was looking extremely sharp, extremely fit, and he had that last 30 seconds of extra push to kick me in the head about 3 times, I think. So congratulations to him. I really enjoyed the fight. So yeah, it was a good experience, but also sort of quite a bad experience, which sort of leads me on to the main point of this Talk TKD episode. It is me on my own. I'm actually out here in Madrid, in Spain, at my girlfriend's parents' house at the moment, and we're going to a flat in the centre of Madrid later after training. Just because you're on a holiday doesn't mean you shouldn't train. Remember that, children. Um, but yeah, sort of dealing with the emotions of a tournament. I think people joke about it, but it's a real thing. Sort of post-tournament stress disorder, PTSD. See what I did there? But it is a real thing. When you spend a week sort of amongst that kind of company, the people around you, inspirational people, friendly people, and nice people, and that's what I love about Taekwondo is that it just draws nice people, and whether you're fussed about martial arts or not, it's good for you to have good, intelligent, nice people around you, and after a week being surrounded by that of like-minded people, to sort of come away from it back to reality can be a little bit, oh yeah, I've got to do a 9 to 5 job like the majority of taekwondo athletes do, and that back to reality and sort of, oh yeah, I can't actually do this every day for the rest of my life is can be get you down a little bit, and it's something to uh, acknowledge and take reasonable steps to counter. Um, like taking some time off or getting back to training, or whatever you feel that you need to do. You kind of need to work that bit out for yourself. Uh, Obviously, um, you can get PTSD with that's post-tournament stress disorder, not the actual PTSD. To clarify, whatever your results are, whether you're European champion or losing the first round, um, but something that you know competitors have to deal with. If you do not get the performance that you wanted or expected, or either of those, you've got the sort of the added pressure of things like feeling like you've let people down, um, and all those kind of just the negative side of losing. You can always take positives from losing. There's lots of lessons to be learned, um, and improvements to be made, and you can go back to the drawing board and sort of reset and stuff like that. And in a way, that's kind of refreshing. Um, but there is the bearing the weight of the pressure that maybe you've put on yourself to perform well, um, which it's a double-edged sword, because you need to put pressure on yourself to train the maximum amount, or the amount that it requires to compete at that level. And I think if you're not putting pressure on yourself to perform well, then maybe you won't perform as well as you possibly could. But then there's also sort of the external sort of thoughts, like the opinions of others and stuff like that, that maybe actually don't matter so much, but you still dwell on and still think about. I'll be completely honest. I had sort of quite lucid dreams a couple of days after the tournament about I won't go into the details of the dream. They're sort of not too exciting, but sort of failing to perform, and that anxiety sort of really, I felt that, and it got to me, and yeah, I was really down for the last few days. It's only uh, sort of my thing steps that I've taken to counter the sort of depression side of it. are working well, and I'm feeling a lot better about myself. But if I hadn't have taken those, then mm, I was feeling very very down about myself. And it's one of those things that you're as a martial artist, you're supposed to sort of take all the losses in your stride and sort of okay, on to the next one. But I think, as I mentioned, you need to acknowledge when you are sort of feeling down about something. And I think if you work hard towards something, or you invest a lot of time and emotion in something, if that doesn't come through the way that you expected, or at least hoped to, it's very hard not to feel down about that. And I think maybe there is an importance in acknowledging that and saying, okay, yes, I do feel upset about what has happened, uh, but now I need to find an action plan to counter that. I kind of didn't really need to. I was quite lucky. As I mentioned, I'm out in Madrid, in Spain, so we got back from the tournament on Monday, and I was moping about Tuesday and Wednesday morning, and I was okay, perfectly polite and stuff like that. But the sort of close people around me could see that there was something bothering me. I wasn't my normal cheery, jokey self, and but as I say, luckily I got to sort of go on holiday for a week, see the in-laws as they were. Um, and actually train quite a bit. There's I've set myself some new challenges, some new goals. I intend to. I've got a British kickboxing belt fight on the 5th of December in Bristol. If you are interested in coming and watching that, I'm donating all my percentage of tickets that I would, any profit that I would personally get from the fight. I'll be donating to the Nukuru Help Project in Kenya, which is a fantastic charity. I know some of the people that are sort of running and organising it, and they do an absolutely fantastic job, and they are really truly inspiring people that have nothing to do with martial arts, but I love them for what they do. The amount that they sacrifice their lives pretty much to help these orphan kids in another country. It's really awe inspiring. So yeah, my any sort of profit that I would make from the fight, I'll be donating there. So, if you do, please come and support me and the Hope Project by buying a ticket as soon as they're available, which should be in the next week or so. They'll be available to buy online via my website, or in person. If you're seeing this through a link via social media, then just tap me up, ask me how to get tickets, and I can get them to you. And yeah, so yeah, I found a kickboxing gym here, which is they're very kindly helping me prep for a week for that. So I'm sort of half holidaying, taking some time for myself, and registering my feelings and emotions, and sort of coming up with an action plan, and sort of taking time to do that, but also doing some more fun, light-hearted training, just to start getting the fitness back up again, and start getting my head set for the fight, so that when I come back to Bristol next week, I can hit the road running, and hopefully have a much better training camp leading up to this fight. I'm looking forward to a bit of change of pace as well. I've been I made I first represented England sort of internationally at the 2002 Argentina World Championships. So obviously not long after the split with Chejinwa's ITF. I was 14 years old, and I've pretty much been doing that consistently. Some in Chejinwa's ITF, some independent trips with sort of non-ITF groups for a few years, and obviously now back in Grandmaster Trattenberg's ITF, travelling with the team there. And I've pretty much I'm 27 now, so I've pretty much been doing that consistently for about 13 years. And I've had sort of a kickboxing fights here and there, but I've only sort of managed to do one or two a year because of my taekwondo commitments. So I'm spending a little bit more time going to do some kickboxing. Just as I say, a change of pace, learn something new, and it's not going to be too long out. I intend to do the World Cup in Budapest next year, and sort of use that as a good platform to try and earn my spot back on the England team, because obviously a team will be selected to go to the European Championships in Finland in April, but I will be fighting in March on Super Fight Series, who are a fantastic fight show. They've had some really bad news recently about a show having to be cancelled. I know that Mr. Palcic and Mr. Savazic must be, very upset about that. From what I understand, it was out of their hands. It's funny actually that the Tear Up Championships as well, the sort of MMA and K1 show in Bristol that's close to me, had to cancel their show as well. So it was a real shame for British and sort of more local martial arts. I hate to see shows cancelled. It's horrible for the athletes and for the fighters to the amount of psychological preparation and build up and just emotion that goes into preparing yourself to fight another man in your underwear in front of thousands of people is it takes a lot. It's not for everyone to do, but even those ones that do it, I think people have the wrong idea about fighters. They think, they're all sort of savages that must come natural to them, and it's really not. It's such a misunderstanding, and I'm sure if you spend 10 minutes if those people spend 10 minutes in any maybe not any, the majority of martial arts gyms, whatever the martial art is, or sort of combat sport, they'll see that that's not the case at all, and that it does, these are normal people that have a taste for this sport, or a combat sport, that will train their mind and their body to be able to do such feats, and it's exhausting, and to have that sort of opportunity, or going through all that preparation, and then to have the opportunity to showcase yourself and to have the final climax, the fight itself whipped away from you is really horrible. But I know that it's just as horrible for the promoters as well, which is why it's really important to be as professional as we can. I've had to pull out of fights in the past due to injury, and stuff like that, and it's horrible. And I genuinely always think of my opponent and just think, and sometimes I've been very close to saying, I'll just do it, I'll be okay. But it's thankfully I've got a good support now with people to save me from myself occasionally. But it is horrible for the fighters and the promoters and everyone involved. So I'm sorry about that. But they'll be back with a bigger, better show. They're definitely hosting in March, which I will be fighting on. It's K1 rules, no shin pads, leg kicks, knees. I can't wait, and obviously being out here in Madrid to help me prep for that and make those subtle changes is very useful. And I just want to represent Taekwondo as well on a different platform. ITF Taekwondo, all Taekwondo, gives you massive advantages, certain advantages that a lot of other martial arts don't give you. In fact, I listened to Joe Rogan talking recently. He's talking about Anthony Pettis, former lightweight, UFC, world, MMA world champion, has a background in Taekwondo, and he was saying that the MMA standard now is so elite and so well structured that you know if you guys that can wrestle and submit equally, if you can then have got the leg dexterity to do the same combinations that they can, but then wrap your leg around their head with ease, it just gives you that added weapon. And I want to showcase that on a wider scene. And Super Fight Series are very kind enough to let me do that and represent Taekwondo on a wider scene, on the kickboxing scene. And also, there are guys doing it in MMA as well. I saw Jermaine Hemmings from sort of the Kent area, one of Master Wolves students, got a K1 fight coming up for him, so massive good luck to him, and I hope he does really well. As fantastic fighter, great movement, great combinations. So best of luck to him, and anyone else that wants to sort of. For me, it's not. It's just about stepping out of that comfort zone. As I say, I've been competing internationally in Taekwondo for 13 years. Sort of individually at world level, so far bronze is as far as I've sort of managed to squeeze. I hope to do more, hope to do further, and hopefully this little break and with a different scene will help me maintain and grow that hunger that I first had when I was 14, 15. When I was 16, like Taekwondo was everything. There was no other life. And recently, setting up a home and we've got business to deal with and stuff like that. It's the older you get, the harder it is to be so one-minded, which you do need to be the world champion. You need to be one-minded, and sometimes you need to recognise when it's time to not keep plugging forward. You need to persevere and have indomitable spirit, but you also need to have the wisdom to realise when actually if you keep plugging along, if the chart starts dropping down and you keep plugging along, but things aren't going the same way, then you need to have the wisdom to stop, make a fresh action plan, start a scratch, maybe take some time away, like Master Gale and Mr. Tapalatu have all mentioned in the past on Talk TKD episodes about recognizing when's the time to step away, have a rest, and then refresh, and then set your goals, have an action plan for your goals, and then set to achieve them. I'm going to take a bit of their advice and try and do just that. Sponsors, I want to say a massive thank you to True Warrior. I was wearing all their equipment that I was allowed to at the Euros, where groin guard and shin guards and stuff like that. It's all fantastic. You can go to warriorforlife.com. That's warriorforlife.com, and check out they've got dough box, they've got sparring equipment, they've got some awesome t-shirts. They've got lots of apparel that you can check out at the website. Super Fight Series, you will, I'm sure we'll be getting some announcements before long. Their next show, but I'm sure that will be up and announced. When they're ready. And oh my days, it'll be worth the wait. So I sat ringside for the first one. It was electrifying, absolutely electrifying. They put on a fantastic show, so I can't wait to see the next one. Just want to say a sort of massive thank you to everyone that has sort of been supportive over the last few weeks. This kind of turned more more of a personal journal than Talk TKD episode, but we will be back to guests and stuff normal, I promise. Yeah, I do want to sort of mention to all the people that have been supportive, both physically in my taekwondo and sort of outside of the dojo as well. It's been much appreciated and needed, and yeah, so very much enjoying myself in Madrid, sort of relaxing and training. And tonight we've got K1 and some WTF taekwondo. So I'll be getting some body armor on and try and get some of that leg speed up. As well as an hour of leg kicks and knees and some boxing and stuff like that. So yeah, fantastic. Found a fantastic gym out here with some fantastic coaches, and using Tamara as my interpreter to get through the sessions. Have a fantastic week, everybody. I wish you all well. Well done to all the competitors and athletes at the European Championships. For those I'm friendly with, fantastic to see you. I had a brilliant time. Shout out to my comrades at ITF England and the national team, and all my Puma family as well, that helped me and supported me and helped me get there as well. Yeah, enjoy your weeks. Peace, Taekwon, and ciao.